So yeah, we are live. We are live on Sound of Manchester. Hello to all our viewers here. This is Prathamesh, and I'm joined with Anurag and Rohan. There are a couple more panelists yet to join, so we will just start off with the initial reactions of the people here because we suffered a
Yeah.
defeat to Sheffield United a couple of nights back, which wasn't a good day to be honest. Staying up until 4 a.m. doesn't make sense if your team loses. It even doesn't make more sense when your team concedes a second goal the way it did, and that to a 20th place Sheffield United. So, Rohan, what are your initial reactions regarding the defeat? Obviously, it's difficult to take in stride, but you still seem a little upset about it. So, what do you feel?
Very upset. I actually had no words, and I slept very late thinking, how did we suffer that defeat to Sheffield United? Not only a rock bottom club, but the thing is they were nine players short. First teamers, nine players were not there. 38-year-old Phil Jagielka playing, and he just had a very good game. I mean, we didn't test him. I won't go to individual performances because as a team we didn't stand up. We didn't show that hunger and desire where we wanted, and I think there was a bit of we took them very lightly. They are a bottom club for a reason. They haven't won for ages over since ages, and we'll just roll them over. So it was a very bad performance. Bad is just an understatement. An appalling performance, and nothing worked. Substitutions were very late. Should have brought Cavani when the first 15 minutes in the second half. United didn't do anything. It was Sheffield United who were threatening us on the counter, and we brought in Cavani. But again, I mean, it was a very strange decision to keep Martial in. Uh, didn't do anything, and it's time now that he needs to be dropped from the starting 11, no matter what. It's not. I here actually praised Martial for his performances. I said that goals and assists are not coming, but he's playing well. But this has come to a point where he's not tracking back, not showing desire, not showing the energy which he should. And the thing
Yeah.
is, Cavani made more movement on the bench rather than Martial, Greenwood, and Rashford in the 90 minutes on the pitch. So it's really difficult to take. But I think this was coming. I think this defeat was coming because we weren't playing that good. We were just nicking a goal or two. The only performance where we actually expressed ourselves was the Leeds game where we were fantastic. It was a shame that we only scored 6 goals then. Should have
Yeah.
at least got a goal in double digits. But this performance is very difficult to take. Very difficult to take.
Yeah, I think the worst part of this performance was, that everybody had a bad day. Like I feel even though Maguire scored his goal and there were a couple of threatening moments. Otherwise, the entire team had a bad day. People on the bench had a bad day. Ole didn't have any idea how to solve this conundrum. So it was just one of those days, right, Anurag, where whatever you do, it doesn't click for you. Rohan talked about Martial not having a good night. He wasn't really contributing. Even Rashford, for that matter, didn't have a really jolly day as well. Bruno Fernandes was looking better in the second half, but still things weren't clicking for him as well. Pogba started the game well, but didn't finish well at all. So a lot of ifs and buts that in the game could have gone our way didn't, especially the refereeing decisions. Uh, we did discuss about it a few a few moments back before the video started that it was an absolutely pathetic shit show by the VAR again. So
Again.
what do you make of those two goals that that one of them which got given against us and one of them which we didn't get the Martial goal. So what is your take on that?
See, firstly, if the keeper is intruding, if for the I don't know if for the Cavani goal, if was it? I'm sorry, it was Martial. Sorry. So for that goal, if the referee felt the keeper was intruding, on that note, it is obvious, right? The play has stopped. Uh, the goal was not given. All right, I think I do not have any complaints there. How was it any different in a sense? Okay, it was a little more. The goal that happened against us United, the first goal that Sheffield scored. Okay, it was a little less intense than the other one. Maybe in terms if you were to really measure uh, how serious it was or something like that. Maybe it wasn't that much, but eventually the keeper was taken out of sight. You could clearly sense the keeper was blocked, and a lot of people have been trying to say maybe he should have been stronger. That's one of the easiest things to say, isn't it? Like, yeah, you should have done that. Yeah, should have and could have said. Like, yeah, life is so easier if people can get it so easily, right? But I think David De Gea pretty much had it under control. If you look at the tapes again, I can
yeah,
really show you a great picture of it if we had the coverage of if we had the footages. But David De Gea actually had control of that situation until there was a shove, and that's when he lost
yeah,
control. That's when he sort of it looked like he just punched the air and not the
yeah,
ball. That's when the ball fell nicely into the box. Into the net. So yeah, that was horrible. But what for me was more horrible was the lack of intent. And I think yesterday in one of our TSD records, that's what we were talking. I think that second goal that we considered, that easily is the worst goal that we've considered this season, and in a long
yeah,
time I can remember. I mean, the number of mistakes. You start from Martial, loses the ball, fine. Uh, you see that man tracking back at the speed of a tortoise, which is even more disgusting. Uh, and then you see Alex Telles not even
yeah,
trying to close the left-sided area, which is his area, isn't it? I love that. That's his area. He's not trying to stop across. He's not
yeah,
closing in. Number one. Whereas Scott McTominay is, I'm sorry, it was Nemanja Matic. Sorry. So Nemanja Matic, he had his hands back. There are two
yeah,
types. There are two ways of going in. If you have your hands tied back, you can't run fast. It's a little difficult. So it automatically means you're trying to block it with your body, not to try and closing in. So I think
yeah,
he gave the crosser and himself too much distance. So irrelevant
yeah,
of how big that person is, if you're just standing like this, there's very easily he can put a ball over your head, and he can find a person in the box quite easily.
yeah.
Yes, I think Prashant says, well, I won't even call that tracking back. Yes, I
Call
think
that
that's
tracking
just a
back.
respectable. Yeah, Prashant, if you and were having a conversation personally, yeah, I think I would use very harsh words as well. But now that we are on a public platform, and although not a lot of people are watching us right now, but I still want to maintain my decency. Uh,
Yeah.
that is a point, right? And then comes, and I think one of the most crucial moments of this was Maguire, uh, just running at David De Gea like foolishly. I don't know what was he doing there, and because of which David De Gea was confused if he should clear the ball or he should. Should he clear the ball straight or should he clear the ball towards his left? That's where he got
Yeah,
confused. If you look at it, why was Maguire running towards David De Gea when there was no Sheffield player like anywhere close to him. I know
yeah,
defenders have this instinct of just going and trying to cover the keeper this way and all. Uh, he did not need it. He was far from it. Any other Sheffield player was far from it. That was absolutely idiotic. And that's where he got confused and he sort of made another misclearance. And again, that
yeah,
came back and again back to Alex Telles. No covering at all. The only person of all these people who actually made an effort to track back was obviously Bruno Fernandes again. And that
Bruno
was
yeah,
Fernandes.
exactly when the shot was being taken. I think if you guys have noticed, the shot was taken and he was
yeah,
just about coming in. That's it. That was the only person in that 30-40 second period of play who was actually running, including Sheffield and Manchester United players. How disgusting
yeah,
is that?
Anurag, he came back to win a tackle. Ampadu went on a run. He came back.
Exactly.
He won the ball. You
yeah,
remember that? That is the
Yes,
hunger and
yes.
desire we want from
yeah,
every player. Martial was, as you
Exactly.
said,
Ampadu, he made a run. Like there was this point when we were 2-1 down, and he knew there was a lot of space. He just started making a run, and Ampadu was quick. And after a point, I got scared. Oh my God, he's just one up against Matic. This is going to be uh, this could get scary. And Bruno Fernandes was actually tracking him back all the way from
yeah,
the goal that we have to attack to the goal that we have to defend. He makes a tackle, tackle, he takes the ball back and he goes for the attack again. I mean, come
yeah,
on, man. And I think Akshay's joined us in the comments. He says Bruno needs a little rest, though. Bruno
yeah,
needs a little rest. Yes, it's a weird situation, Akshay, because Ole is one of those very old school persons as far as management is concerned. I think people don't talk about it much, but he wants to ease players in very slowly and conveniently. I think for some reason he had that trust in Bruno Fernandes that he can shine right from the outset, because of which he started from his very first game. We haven't seen that kind of trust in Donny van de Beek, which
yeah,
I still don't think he's like a like for like replacement. I don't think I don't see him as a number 10, to be honest. Uh, but again, if that is the only
yeah,
person in this entire setup who's sort of capable of replacing Bruno Fernandes in an attacking sense. So it'll be interesting to see where the team goes from here, because what for me was the worst part was uh, Prashant says barring the free kick against Pool him
yeah.
stinker since 5 or 6.
That's been problems.
Uh, Again,
Looks
Prashant
tired though, doesn't he?
looks
He
tired.
genuinely looks like, yeah. I think
Tired.
Anurag,
I
the
think if you
problem
look at
also is,
Kevin, if you look at Kevin De Bruyne in Manchester City, especially last season, I think we got to see a lot of it when David Silva was not playing as many games as he used to. He started
yeah,
struggling as far as a creative knack was concerned, because everything fell on his shoulders, because Bernardo Silva was not being Bernardo Silva, and he lost that. The first season, I mean, it was very surprising that a player like Bernardo Silva, you almost gave a Ballon d'Or level performance in his first game, drops to something like that in
Messi-esque
the second
kind
season.
of performances.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you could say that he was pretty good. And last
yeah,
season, when he had nothing to offer, Kevin De Bruyne struggled in many phases. Like if you actually
Yes.
go back and look at those tapes, there are many
yeah.
people who I mean, many people who felt Kevin De Bruyne was underwhelming, but then those were in bits and pieces, and he still ended up winning. Did he win the Player of the Year award? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know. I think
I
Henderson
think
won it, right?
it was Henderson
Henderson.
who won
Yeah,
the
but
Henderson.
I
Defender of
think
the Year, right? Yeah,
he still had the assists. He still had the goals. And Kushagra, as he
yeah.
rightly says, I'm stunned that of all people we
Son,
are talking about Bruno Fernandes. I am very yeah, the same Kushagra. I think if it had been in my control, I don't think I would have even brought his name. But I think someone did mention in the comments. So
yeah.
yeah, of
I
all the
think
problems,
Anurag,
Bruno is
one
last.
of the
Yes.
things that why Bruno Fernandes got into the starting lineup was we had Lingard and Pereira as options, right? So it was high time that Ole had to upgrade. With Donny
Mhm.
van de Beek, I think he will take his time because, as we can see, van de Beek is not an attacking, like not a number 10 as precisely people want him to be a number 10. So I think it will take a little bit of time there. Also, we were pretty scared to concede a set piece after that goal that we conceded because whichever clearances we were trying to make, we didn't try to make it anywhere close to the corner line. So that is one of the reasons why the whole mess up happened between De Gea, Maguire, and I don't know what LSU he was doing.
Prathamesh, that is why this is real football. This is not PES or a FIFA game where you can
Yeah,
just pass backside. You don't have that. You have an upper vision. You have like a total vision while you're playing of the field. Players don't have that. All they have is this
yeah,
very simple 180 to 90-degree view, and
yeah.
which can do a lot of nonsense. And that's why coaches tell you when you're not sure, even when you're not even
Just clear
10%
it.
sure, you just clear it.
Yeah,
Ugh,
yeah.
the
We will
schoolboy
just take.
errors,
Schoolboy errors.
people sitting in this panel wouldn't do that, and people getting paid that much end up doing it. That is where uh
Yeah.
exact.
Sunday
It's
league.
almost you look to over compromise on the fact that you haven't been playing well from the back, so you just keep doing that and make mistakes. We'll just go on to a few comments. Prashant has been quite active on that sense. Despite the good run we won, we weren't dominating and slapping teams. We were grinding out results. We didn't care because we were winning. That's true. Uh, Malar says that well noted. Sometimes all efforts go in vain. Luck does play a role, whether we like it or not. A little philosophy there, but I think it kind of makes sense.
Agree.
Prashant says that despite the good run we were on, yeah, we have already read this comment once. Deep down, we knew it wasn't sustainable. Probably, yeah, it deep down we knew there was one stinker that was coming. So let's see how we deal with that. Kushagra talked about the Bruno Fernandes thing that we shouldn't be talking, and he's right because of all the problems that Bruno is the last of our worries, and which is
Yeah.
pretty cool because I think he's the only player on the pitch who actually looks like he's giving his 100% every game. Although to be honest, his last couple of games or three games hasn't been his level, but I think the players around him haven't supported him either. So it's a team effort, and that's how we have to look at things right now. Prashant again says that no one at Man United above the criticism. We just say what we see. Yeah,
If I could say something about it, if I could say something
yeah,
about it, Prashant, while I totally agree and I don't mind anyone having such a high stand, I think United is a big club and people will have high expectations from everyone. But then it also comes to a little bit of more understanding of what the player is doing, also trying to understand how much effort is putting, also trying to understand the lack of effort from the other players. How many times Bruno is waiting to see if there is anyone making a run, and because there is no one
yeah,
making a run, and because the our forwards' intelligence starts 2 seconds late, and in those 2 seconds, 2 seconds are a huge amount of time in football, especially in the Premier League. And by the time there'll be some players coming in and swooping in on Bruno Fernandes. He doesn't get the time to. I mean, it gets late for him to pass the ball, and someone snatches the ball off him or closes his space,
yeah,
and that's what happens. You go check. I don't think there is anyone. I totally agree to the fact that no one at United is above criticism, but Bruno, like I really don't think so. I
yeah,
mean, come on, the guy is doing everything he can. I think it's
yeah,
I could go ahead and say this. Bruno is doing 100% well. I think in all the games that people felt he was not doing correctly, I think he was doing a magnificent job. I think it's all
yeah,
down to the players, and I don't even
yeah,
want to be like one of those parents who will say my elder son is the greatest son of all time. If he's done anything wrong, it's because of the people. It's not like that. I think Bruno is doing absolutely wonderful. He's doing everything perfectly. People around him need to be a little
yeah.
more. Little more smarter and a little more of the Manchester United level. I think that's where people,
Anurag,
the front
yeah,
line needs to take a high stand. As it stands, Cavani is the only person who sort of is
yeah.
in the
Who's
wavelength
actually
because
putting the efforts, right? Yeah,
he
Yeah.
knows he's a classic center. I think Michael Owen went on to say that as far as off the field moment is concerned, there is no forward who matches up to Cavani, and a Liverpool
yeah,
player saying that really
yeah.
means a lot, doesn't it? So
And that to someone like
he,
Michael Owen who understands what movement actually means, right? So,
yeah,
For sure.
precisely,
Yeah.
exactly. He was one of those players, and
yeah,
he understands why Cavani gets those many goals. He keeps moving and moving and moving. He's never
yeah,
stagnant. And bro, he's the only player. And Rashford, you never. One day is a god. The other day he can
yeah,
just be normal. Like he'll be a
normal,
bang
yeah,
average footballer. I feel
yeah.
bad about that. Like flip and quality. It's very frustrating. But yeah, what can we do?
Anurag, I actually, one of the reasons why I felt, Kushagra was right that we shouldn't be talking about Bruno Fernandes. So probably the only reason why we are talking about him is because he is not able to contribute because of all these other mistakes that are happening all over the
By
pitch.
the way,
And
Prathamesh, just a
yeah,
small trivia for our viewers. Bruno Fernandes was signed exactly on this day.
yes,
It's been
29,
1 year.
29 January. And then he made his debut against Wolves on the 31st, if I'm not wrong. So,
First or
And
31st.
so
then he wore a Wolves jersey and went past David De Gea, and David De Gea didn't recognize him.
yes,
Nil, nil draw at Old Trafford.
there were
Yeah.
Sorry.
there were memes at that point of time saying that Bruno got frustrated in 90 minutes playing with Lingard, so he decided to switch teams straight away, and he joined Wolves.
Yeah,
So that was a
Portuguese
funny
manager.
moment. And
indeed.
we have indeed had a lot about the Sheffield game, and it was absolutely terrible for all United fans. But there is always some optimism to look ahead to, and we will move on to the Emirates game. But before that, there are a couple of transfer updates that we wish to give you from our side. As stated by Mr. Fabrizio Romano, Marcos Rojo is currently in talks with Boca Juniors. The deal is yet to be finalized, but United are willing to agree on a fee with Boca Juniors if Marcos Rojo can, agree on personal terms. So, we have to see how that transfer develops. There are no transfer incomings as we really expected. So, it would be a very difficult or an impossible task, I would say, for United fans to expect anything in the incoming side. One outgoing that's almost confirmed is Jesse Lingard is going out on loan to West Ham United. There isn't a here we go yet, if I'm right. So there are just some final details yet to be confirmed in regards to the transfer. I think one of the reasons that
Yep.
is holding up this transfer is, they're deciding on which club has to pay the amount of Jesse Lingard's wages. What will be the split of the wages that each club has to pay Jesse Lingard. That is one of the reasons why the transfer is currently, not yet gone through, but it will pretty soon, according to Fabrizio. So, let's just hope that Jesse Lingard has a good kickstart to his career at West Ham, even though it's on a 6 month loan, because I feel he's gone through a lot of good patches at United, especially that couple of seasons under Jose, where he almost was one of the best players on the pitch. But since then, a lot of things have gone down wrong in his life, on and off the pitch, and he hasn't really been the same player. So we just hope that will actually helps him going ahead in the future. So yeah, let's come to the big game, right, guys? United versus Arsenal at the Emirates. Always an occasion that we look on to. It's tomorrow on a Saturday at 11 p.m. IST. So it's going to be a big game. Rohan, we go to the Emirates, and it's only fitting that we talk about Jesse Lingard, right? Because we all remember his Millie Rock dance that he
Millie
did
Rock.
after scoring a goal, and that was a really good night. But we have to pull off a similar performance again now, because we definitely need those 3 points. I feel we are facing a little connection issue from Rohan's side. So I will just move on to Anurag a little. Anurag, 3 points are the call of the hour, right? We definitely need those 3 points, and how do we go ahead with this? Because I feel team selection. I think there is a bit of background noise that's coming from somewhere. So how do we go ahead with this game right now at the Emirates? Because we definitely need those 3 points. We have to make sure that the performance is good as well, because Arsenal are in a good run of form. They did get beaten against Southampton in the FA Cup, but their performance at the St Mary's in the Premier League was brilliant. The way they came back after going a goal down, and Saka as well as Emil Smith Rowe are looking pretty good at the moment. So, what do you guys make of it? Anurag first, and then we'll move on to Rohan.
I think this is one of the worst times to go to the Emirates. I know there are a lot of people actually trying to be optimistic and say, "Yeah, this is perhaps one of the very best times to go to Emirates," and this is the challenge that players are up to. If the players are not up to a Sheffield challenge after such a high performance against Liverpool, I don't think Arsenal is anything easier, and them getting back into good form is not going to help us again. Uh, I really don't have great feeling about this. I hope whatever fears I have uh, they don't end up being true. But you know what kind of a performance Arsenal are going to pull off. They are going to absolutely be so very resolute defensively. And Prathame, I think Prashant has given us his lineup here: Cavani,
Yeah,
Rashi with Bruno, and a four-man midfield and Bruno, Pogba, Fred, and Scott. With
yeah.
Luke Shaw, Maguire, Lendo, and Wan-Bissaka. It makes a little bit of sense, but at the same time, if we go with this, it's pretty much the same diamond sort of a formation uh, you know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer went against Arsenal the last time. And hello, hi Kushagra. I can see you haven't slept well. So have I.
Actually, I had to wake up
So
pretty early. I had to pick up a few people from the airport. So I came back. I thought I'll take an hour, and when the hour ended, it was already 12 o'clock. Uh,
Well, that is reality. You
yeah.
never the sleep schedule never actually turns out the way you want it to. So
Maybe, hopefully, in the future it will be. But again, this is what I was talking about. I think again going with that four-man midfield would be a little suicidal considering it got battered the last time. United could have lost 2-0, 3-0.
yeah,
You never know what Ole is thinking anyway. Last time he went three times against Lampard. He went with a back three times against Lampard. It worked two times. The third time backfired very badly. Uh, so it's one of those things. Um, but again, I think as much as people want to say Martial might remain out of the setup, I think he's going to start again. It's not going to do his confidence a lot of good, and it's not going to uh, make United fans very happy about it. But I think he's going to start. Uh,
yeah,
because I think my worry is I think Rashford. There were times when he was just about catching his knee or a few times. I think
yeah,
he does have some problem. So I hope
yeah,
it's not something serious because he's one of those players. He can have the shittiest of games, but he will provide that one moment of brilliance, like we saw in.
yeah.
I think the Wolves game was
The
Rashford's
Wolves game
career
was
defined in a
excellent
nutshell.
example.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's one of those players. So okay, I don't know. I think the lineup that he put was pretty much spot on. But
yeah,
Prashant, Ole saves that Fred and Scott McTominay partnership for the against the best of attacks. Does he
yeah.
rate Arsenal's attack that highly? I think we'll get to know once we see the lineup.
I
That's
think
his way
Anurag,
of telling, okay, I respect your lineup.
after the Sheffield performance, it's almost a given that Fred McTominay are going to start because conceding two goals and it looked a horrible defensive performance anyway. And Ole definitely likes Fred and McTominay to be in the defensive setup when it comes down to that. So it almost is writing on the wall that Fred and McTominay might start. Since Kushagra hasn't yet
Yeah.
vented out his little emotions that he felt after the Sheffield game, we will give
नहीं नहीं
him
I've been watching you guys since you
yes,
started. पहले
yeah,
सोचा कि मैं comments में ही I can थोड़ा सा उधम मचा लूं, but I felt like मेरा और प्रशांत का थोड़ा सा disagreement हो जाता, but in the sense he is right. No one is
yeah,
above criticism, and I'm where my point was कि Bruno को criticize. What I meant was not कि Bruno criticize मत करो. What I meant was कि that there are bigger problems in this particular team, and
yeah,
this is the reason on Sound of Manchester and even on the Sports Doyen earlier, whenever we speak about Manchester United as Manchester United fans, it is very tough to get extremely excited about the positions that they
yeah,
were in. Navjeevan, Pratmesh, if you could take Navjeevan's comment,
yeah,
it is in a little bit of fun. He says,
yeah,
hello there, a few days back, United was on top. What happened?
No,
Navjeevan, life happened. That is what happened with Manchester United.
yeah,
You can only keep escaping reality for so long, in the sense that so many amazing victories that Manchester United or this team, Ole's team, was getting after being behind or after poor performances or the last minute winners, that can only work till so long. It can't be your modus operandi, right? It can't be the way you actually function as a club. And unfortunately, that had become the way that we had started functioning. That is why it was so difficult to ever say ki, yes, we're favorite for the league, or
yeah,
bring them on, or bring these guys on, or bring them on. If we saw Liverpool last night, they look back to their again, back to some sort of a form at least. And
yeah,
you can always count on Spurs to give Liverpool a nice boost, right? They did it at
yeah.
Anfield, and now they've done it at their own, at their new stadium,
And
with
and
the new.
that too to a team that hadn't scored for 5 Premier League games, a Liverpool team that absolutely didn't have no idea how to attack, and they if they're defending
Jurnalis
itself,
forgot that he was a keeper, I felt
yeah,
last night.
and also it was so disappointing to see that you all know that Jose is going to do that, but yeah, thoda proactiveness they could have attacked Liverpool and have actually got a few goals themselves. After that first goal for Heung-min Son got disallowed, they could have actually put some pressure, but nahi, we're going to sit back, we're going to defend.
Prathamesh,
So
this is
that
what I
is
said to you in the group, didn't I? You don't expect that
yeah,
from Jose. I think it's
yeah,
just waste of time, waste of energy. Just he never does that. He does that after You saw it after the first and second goals went in. He started
Yeah,
attacking a little more. I think the team doesn't have any idea how to attack full fledged. Once every time they gave the ball away, Liverpool had so much spaces, and with the quality of passing they have, I think it was like some sort of a training session that they enjoy a lot, and everyone goes in, everyone has a bang at this versus goal. They could,
yeah,
it so easily could have been a 6-1, 7-1 to Liverpool. I
yeah.
mean, they did not.
And
Mm,
The finishing
yeah,
wasn't that fantastic
right,
yesterday,
right.
but
yeah,
they were so comfortable going forward. Liverpool just, I
yeah.
mean, Tottenham just eased Liverpool back into the title race. Idiots.
It's about
Mm.
time. It's about time we played Spurs as well.
Kane's injury and substitution
So
played a big role.
let's just
I
hope
mean,
that's a prelude for things to come in the future. I think you're right. That injury was one of the major reasons why,
mm,
second half looked almost like Tottenham didn't have any clue. But moving on to their arch rivals or the guys who used to celebrate St. Tottenham's Day, it does look like Arsenal are looking at looking in good touch. We talked about a few Arsenal players who are doing well. It's going to be a difficult game anyway. So I think 4-4-2 is what a lot of people are talking, which might happen again. Is Fred McTominay and then Pogba Fernandes in midfield, and then we go with two attackers, which is pretty much what Ole has been doing, and which Ole did against Arsenal. Back when we lost to them at Old Trafford. So how do you see United go into this game? Do you think this is one of the ways to go, or should we just play the way we play against Liverpool? All out attack. Score more goals than your opponent and win the game. Is that something that you see happening?
you're asking me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay. See, the thing is, I actually don't have good vibes for this game, and for some reason, Arteta always has a plan to beat Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. For some reason, he brings that tactics to just nullify our attack, and I think he'll follow a bit of Sheffield United's blueprint, where you give a lot of space to Aaron Wan-Bissaka because he's not gonna hurt you with his incisive passing, or he's not gonna hurt you with his crossing. He's gonna do
yeah,
that, and he's gonna block all the our passing lanes from the midfield. That is what Arteta is gonna do. He's done that before, and then they have some really good players who are in great touch now at the moment. One is Saka. Pepe was very good playing on the left hand side, where I've watched Nicolas Pepe from Lille playing on the right, but on the left he was very good against
yeah,
Southampton. So that is one thing. Emil Smith Rowe, he's been a breath of new life for Arsenal. Then
yeah,
they have signed Martin Odegaard, who can play a cameo. I think I'm a bit worried because he's a good player. And then you have the defense. I guess Arsenal have the third best defense. We speak that they have a very bad form, and they aren't they weren't performing well initially, but we have
yeah,
to also look at that. And they have now a fixed back four where they can play that, and Partey and Zaka will hold the midfield, and Zaka for some reason tends to get the better of Pogba every time when he plays. So I'm a bit worried. I'm really a bit worried regarding this, and it's gonna be Fred Scott in the midfield, I would say, and he has
yeah.
to go with a 4-2-3-1. And as you asked, attack is the best form of defense,
Almost.
and we have to
Yeah,
go all out because we cannot defend. That's the simple thing. We keep making schoolboy errors. We keep making basic errors. We cannot defend set pieces. I don't know what happens in the training sessions and drills. It's a recurring theme. It's a recurring
yeah,
theme, and Arsenal have players who can really get into the box and score goals. That's a big worry
yeah,
again. And maybe throw in Daniel James, start Daniel James. You never know for this game.
yeah,
He did that last season when we lost 2-0 at the Emirates. Of course, he didn't play well. The entire team was not good, but
yeah.
I really don't have good vibes, as I
It's
said, for this
it's
game.
really worrying, right? We will just move on to a few comments before we move on to the predictions, where we'll start with Kushagra. But a few comments have come from Prashant as well. Now I'm really worried about the Arsenal game. Every time we they turn up against us like we are facing Barcelona of 2008. Since 3 years or so, we
Yeah.
didn't have good performances against them in a while. I feel the last good performance that we actually had against them was the win at the Emirates when Lingard did his little bit of dance, and we all felt like this is our home, right? This is our second home. We're going to win here, and then things haven't gone well for United since then. Prashant adds, as much as I hate to see Fred and McTominay together as a double pivot, given how bad our defenders defend, I think Ole will go with Fred McTominay double pivot. We badly need an out and out CDM. Yeah, right. I think that's the sentiment of every United fan, isn't it? Because we definitely need players who can do, what many would say the Matic role, which Matic had at Chelsea, probably what NDD is doing at Leicester right now. So, we need that kind of a player, and we unfortunately do not have that kind of a player. Let's just see how that works on. Prashant adds that I think we'll go with a 4-2-3-1. Fred, Scott, double pivot, Pogba off the right, Rashi of the left, and Bruno and Cavani up top. Yeah, it's difficult to see Pogba off the right, but he did play that role against Liverpool in the second half. So let's see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, whether he thinks that Rashford off the left is more effective, which he is, but then again, does he think Pogba is effective off the right? So that's one of the reasons that it looks like. um there is some kind of a worry there for United, because if we play Mason Greenwood again, Greenwood it doesn't look like a player who is at the moment looking at the best of his form. Also, there has been this issue of overplaying Greenwood sometimes, and it actually leads to a little issue for him in terms of his performance. His standards drop a little, which we probably saw in the last game. He wasn't as good as he was against Liverpool. So that is going to be difficult to see how which United player actually plays on the right, and then again come back to the transfer window, right? Why we didn't sign Jadon Sancho in the first place. So that's a difficult one to predict in that sense. Prashant adds, I don't think Arsenal will leave as many spaces like Liverpool leave.
Of course.
Definitely, I think
Of course.
Arteta's way more defensively oriented in that sense to Jurgen Klopp, and he likes to build from the back, and he likes to keep clean sheets. He's not like a Jurgen Klopp, who likes to outscore his opposition. So that's going to be something that will be bothering United, because even if United are to play on the counter attack, Arsenal will be pretty good defensively, and Leno looks in good touch as well. So United will have to beat their absolute best to beat Arsenal. Prashant adds that we have to be at our brilliant best in terms of creative side of things to break this Arsenal down. Yes, and he
Yeah.
also adds that Pogba will be played as a sort of false right winger. I think it will be a coin toss between Pogba and Rashford. I feel Greenwood starting looks a little difficult in this one. We'll go to Kushagra first. Kushagra, obviously, Scott McTominay double pivot is not what United fans want to see, because it doesn't bring that kind of charisma to midfield. It doesn't feel like there is a lot of creativity from the deeper midfield. But I think Fred has been doing pretty decent. But McTominay still looks like he has to improve on the defensive side of his game, which is one of the reasons why he actually plays. So would you go with a double pivot, or what would you field against Arsenal at the Emirates, considering the current scenario?
It is a bit difficult because ideally, what the lineup that he played against Sheffield United, I felt was the lineup most United fans would have preferred, right? I mean, Eric Bailly, we understand his issues. We've all been calling for Axel Tuanzebe to come in and finally get some game time, and unfortunately did not have a good game.
Yeah,
I hope you guys have addressed the nonsense that few United players had to go through after the match, and
yeah, that
there
was
is no
unfortunate.
place there is no place for racism or any such kind of connotations. It's not a joke that people take a knee. It's not a joke that everything that has happened in the last 2 years in and around the world has happened, and that a stance has been taken. And even beyond that, I mean, it has never been acceptable. And I just hope people
Yeah,
can rise above that. You have all the right to criticize players. Please do that, but why is there a need to jump a line? But yeah, anyway, coming back to the football side of things. So as I was saying, the lineup that he picked against Sheffield United, ideally, if I had asked you, Pratmesh, or even Rohan, or for that matter, Anurag, who unfortunately had to leave us slightly early today, I don't think any of you would have given me a lineup which would have been too far different from what Ole Solskjaer picked.
Yeah,
So that is the problem for Solskjaer. He had to rest a few players. He had to rest Cavani, as we had discussed earlier, because Cavani can't play 3 games in a week. He had to
yeah,
rest Luke Shaw because once again Luke Shaw had been playing so many matches, the fatigue would have been building up. He had to rest Bruno. Sorry, he had to rest other players as well, in the sense that Fred had to be rested.
yeah,
Lindelof, for obvious reasons, had to be rested again. Cannot play 2 times a week. Uh, so if you look at all these players, I think these players will come back, and his favorite son Scott McTominay definitely will get a game.
yeah,
Because there is even more reason for it now, right? United played
yeah,
pathetically against Sheffield United, so
yeah,
Scotty Tuhotti gets his mojo back, right? Scotty Tuhotti gets his place back in the team. But if you move beyond that, uh, just not very confident about this Arsenal match, as Rohan is also mentioning, and Prashant has also been mentioning in the comments. It's not so much as Arsenal. It's more about Manchester United. Why I'm not confident is again comes down to one of the basic things in football, which is defending.
yeah,
I don't expect this United team to actually be able to defend properly. I don't expect them to actually be able to keep a clean sheet, because we have conceded two identical goals from Sheffield United in the last 2 months. We conceded a
yeah,
similar goal like that versus Leicester as well. We conceded a
yeah,
similar goal like that versus Southampton as well, if I'm not wrong. And we continue to concede goals from the corner as if it's no one's business. Like it's just
yeah.
shambolic how we defend. As far as attack is concerned,
Kushagra, just a cue that I want to take from this one. The way we defended at corner against Sheffield, so many Sheffield United players near on the 6 yard box, they were absolutely crowding the goalkeeper. Why don't United attack corners in such a way too? Like there is more of a chance of scoring a goal than Maguire trying to push some player and then somebody else trying to win a header. Isn't that more logical way? If United can see that there is a weakness in that sense, they could actually use that weakness to make it their strength while they're attacking corners. I think that will also give them an idea of how to defend such corners when they're practicing them in training actually. And there are teams like,
We
as you said, Leicester, Southampton, etc., who actually built on this. They've scored goals like this. We saw, I think,
what you're
last
talking
this towards.
But the problem is, Pratmesh, what you're saying is too logical. So, it's doing things that level of logic is not something what Manchester United do. And it's not Solskjaer's issue. It's been an issue. We've spoken about this since Sound of Manchester began. And even before that,
Yeah,
we've been talking about this mix up of the marking system, in which, some of us go zone, some of us go man to man, which
yeah,
basically leaves a khichdi in the middle, which is inedible, right? So, that khichdi
yeah,
is inedible. And always ends up giving us losies, right? Like basically that's what happens.
yeah,
We end up conceding goals at the rate of knots, and that is what that again the issue, the central issue in the defense is, I feel Harry Maguire is not a leader. Harry Maguire is not someone who can actually lead. He could not lead an ants to a picnic. Let alone him leading a Manchester United defense. So the problem is the lack of leadership. The problem is again, in De Gea, you've got a goalkeeper who is not very vocal, who's not as in command of his box as you would want. And
yeah,
I also put the blame on David De Gea for that goal, because first of all he's pushed in the back by Billy Sharp. Why doesn't
yeah,
he start rolling around on the ground? Why
exactly.
doesn't he start getting the referee's attention कि भाई at least check तो कर तू VAR से, और कुछ
yeah,
let VAR say foul नहीं था. The referee didn't even bother to wait for VAR to actually complete the check, and he had already kicked the game off after that goal.
yeah,
Then that whatever happens with Harry Maguire, I mean, United gets slightly unlucky, but if any United fan is taking that as an excuse, then we're feeling very sorry for ourselves. Okay, I'll come back to the Arsenal match quickly. I took a few minutes there, but coming back to the Arsenal game, if you're talking about the predicted lineups that I might think that may start, I don't think you got that many choices anyway. Luke Shaw has to start on the left. Van Bissaka, who
yeah,
I felt had a good game against Sheffield United. He played the Luke Shaw position versus Sheffield United day before yesterday.
yeah,
In the sense, he
yeah,
played some good balls and deserved maybe an assist or two, and never got them. And with both of them as wing backs, if Eric Bailly is fit, I hope he is fit because nothing negative was mentioned in that sense. If Eric Bailly
Yeah,
is fit, I would definitely play Eric Bailly over Victor Lindelof. But I have a feeling that he'll play Lindelof and Maguire as he always does. There's no question of Henderson in goal. It has to be De Gea.
yeah,
That, that's a defense sorted. If you go to the midfield, I've got this, McFred, vision in front of me. I know he'll go for that. I know it'll be an uninspiring, dull, drab midfield, wherein Thomas Partey may actually dominate these guys. I just feel like if he goes like that, it sort of plays into Arsenal's hands. But okay, we'll see. Fred and McTominay at the base of the midfield, the three ahead of them. Again, as Prashant also mentioned, I can see Paul Pogba on the right wing, and I can
yeah,
see Bruno in the middle. I can see Rashford on the left and Cavani up top. This is what I
yeah,
can see. But again, Rashford playing remains subject to fitness. I
yeah.
think he scraped his knee or bumped his knee. जैसे हम लोग को छिल जाता है ना पैर. I think
Uh-huh.
something like that happened because he fell on the parapet at Old Trafford, the sliding down
Yes.
parapet that is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
That
that's
has
a
been
very rough
suicidal
play.
for ages, right? I mean, what were they
Yeah.
planning there?
So that's for that's an earlier method of actually trying to drain the water out. And when the pitch was
Yeah,
planned, it was planned in that elevated manner because it rains like almost all the time in Manchester. But now
yeah,
maybe they can have better in soil system and even it out because that is genuinely very dangerous for so many players
Dangerous,
I've
yeah.
seen. Yeah, I've seen so many players get injured so badly, falling on that concrete. And if not that, they should at least add in a fake layer of carpet which goes up to the
yeah,
side the holdings, so that even if a player is goes
yeah.
sliding, there is still grass and it's not the concrete that it is because that
Uh,
completely fucks players up. Anyway, come and because United players eventually will play the most games on that pitch, so might as well do it. It is going to help you only. So coming back, I think that can be the lineup. As far as prediction is concerned, I've got a bad feeling, man. This has got a loss written on all over it. And I think, as we've seen the entire season, as Vijay keeps talking about on the sports story, this is going to be an up and down curve, and we are on the down
yeah,
aspect now. I think.
yeah. Rohan, do you see any changes from the lineup that Kushagra mentioned? And what would be your prediction for the game? I know we are not all in a very good mood, and it doesn't even look like United themselves are in a good shape right now. Fred McTominay in midfield, probably, all of us are predicting that. So that probably tells what is the mood of the United camp right now. What are your feelings regarding this one?
Before the Sheffield United game, we three were all smiling, laughing. Everything was so good. And just one defeat after ages, and we are, in the downward curve. I completely agree with Kushagra when he says that, this is gonna be an up and down. It's gonna be a rotating chair, something, a rotating throne, I would say, where that cat and mouse thing will go on. Yesterday we saw Liverpool also, Tottenham ने दे दिया उनको momentum. Anyway, the thing is, Pogba on the right, I have reservations because Arsenal's left back will be Tierney, and
Yeah,
Tierney goes. I mean, he's very attacking, and that will be like it's difficult because Pogba doesn't do that defensive job a lot. So I have a bit of reservations. Pogba starting on the right as well as on the left. So that,
yeah,
I may be very wrong about that, but I think Pogba will start in central midfield, and he'll be partnered by Fred. I think so because, as I said, we have to go attacking. There won't be any changes in the goalkeeping department. David De Gea definitely starts. For me, if Eric Bailly was really fit, uh, Lindelof would have started the Sheffield United game, but as he didn't start, I think Bai will not be fit for this game. So it was just a tactic to protect Lindelof for not not get injured or have that back spasm or something. So Lindelof and Maguire will start. 100% Luke Shaw. We just saw the levels of where Luke Shaw is and where Alex Telles is.
yeah,
It's I don't wanna compare because both have their qualities. But Luke Shaw 100% for the left back role. Midfield, as I said, Bruno 100% number 10 role. You take out Bruno, we don't create chances. We don't create goal scoring opportunities. So really, he is there for the team. And right hand side has to be. I think he'll go with he'll go with Mata. Definitely, I really want to see Mata play because I have seen people who say that Mata is old, Mata cannot run, Mata's legs are done. It's just that Mata's pace has never been Mata's forte. So you have to
Yeah.
know how to use that fantastic player. It's a shame that he doesn't play a lot, but I would use Mata on the right rather
I
than
think
having.
Mata's pace has been same since he was at Valencia and now. I don't think it has changed anyway. It's
It
just the
hasn't
way
died
Mata
down.
plays. It's just that
Yeah, exactly.
Mata was voted the best winger when he was at Valencia. He never had pace. It is just the way he moves and the spaces that he finds in very difficult areas for defenders to defend. So, that is one of his fortes. And you're right. I think Mata needs to play one of these games because I feel we
Absolutely.
are definitely down on creativity, and it isn't helping the
Absolutely.
fact that we are having to play someone like a Greenwood or Rashford on the right hand side who aren't players who want to play in that side. So we have to find a player who is actually good at what he does in that position, that inside right kind of position. But again, people ask about Mata tracking back. I think Mata is a very hard worker on the pitch. So even though he might not last 90 minutes, I think the 60 minutes or the 50 minutes that he gives you, he'll give you a good output. So
The
I
six,
think in that
as you
sense,
mentioned, yeah, 50-60 minutes he gives his quality. He'll not
yeah,
run like a headless chicken. He'll work, and the interchanging of Bruno and Mata will be very
yeah,
very good. We saw in those cup games where Mata and Van de Beek made those interchanges, and it always is difficult because when players move, it is difficult for the opposition to keep aside. So
yeah.
that is one
You
that is where
my,
I'll
my only
definitely.
problem my only problem with playing Juan Mata is he's just too easy to defend against because and it's incredibly, you talk about Paul Pogba not being able to maybe contain Kieran Tierney. Mata will not even be in the same strategy as Kieran Tierney, because if you're talking about that,
Yeah, yeah.
because Kieran Tierney or whoever is playing on the left for Arsenal will absolutely breeze past Mata is what I feel. So I don't think Mata should come anywhere near the starting 11 in this lineup, because if you have someone like Juan Mata, first of all, there is absolutely zero pace on the right. I would rather have Paul Pogba because he'll offer more physicality, and personally, I feel Juan Mata has been past it for the past 3 years. He's just been an ornamental player in the squad who comes in for that odd Norwich free kick. And beyond that, his contribution is only against the lower status sides. Not to say that Juan Mata is not a fantastic professional or massive, ambassador for the club and everything on that account. But an ambassador for the club is not paid almost 150 grand a week. That's my only gripe with Juan Mata. I think he's taking a place of a youngster that could have been in the squad, who could have been a real option. I would rather that he takes a punt on Amad Diallo than he plays Mata,
Yes,
rather than
yes. That would be a
rather than
good
doing
one.
that, because at least there
But
is
we all know. But
there
we
is
all
some.
know
I would
Kushagra,
rather play
Ahmad Diallo
Dan
is very
James.
good.
Ron, I would play Dan James than Juan Mata.
I, I,
Frankly,
I know, I know
I
because
would.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
I
don't see.
understand.
It's not about the intricacy that Juan Mata brings. It's about what's going back. How much you're giving up with Juan Mata, because you really are. It's
I
not
think
games like Arsenal.
if
It is games
necessary,
like Sheffield United Juan Mata should
yeah,
have played. It is
yes,
not the Arsenal game that Juan Mata should play. It
and if
was a Sheffield
necessary,
United he should have come out.
One Mata can
Hmm?
always come in the last 10 minutes if it's necessary, right? If we have to bring that extra creativity, if the game is
Pratnesh,
live,
that is going to be such a niche situation also against Arsenal. अगर आप last 10 minutes में one मटा लाने की position में है, तो anyway you've been shit, right, the entire match.
yeah,
Like, it's going to
The
be
thing is,
another.
Kushagra, if we are trying to bring Mata in the last 10 minutes to change a game, understand Arsenal are a very good defensive side. They are the
yeah,
third best
No, they
defensive. They
aren't.
don't
Rohan, they
they
aren't. They
don't
aren't
creak.
very good defensively. No, they aren't. I'm not going to have that. The thing is कि हमारा एक खराब performance था. Agreed, as you said, Rohan. It's all doom and gloom after just one loss. It's not
Mhm.
doom and gloom. It's just that the loss बहुत predictable थी. I'm sure Pratnesh must have spoken about it. What's more
yeah,
what's more disappointing is कि आपके manager ने preempt किया था ये. उसने
yes,
बोला था कि we will talk about
Ah,
any kind of trophy or top contentions after the Sheffield match, and they proved him right that these guys are a bunch of bottlers. and they have not grown up from being bottlers. And if that remains
Four
the case,
four
then
semi-final losses, right? Four semi-final losses. That
Four
yeah.
that
semi-final
So,
losses.
pretty much says a lot.
so so that is the problem with the squad. The problem isn't the personnel per se. The problem is the mentality and the mindset. I felt they went to Old Trafford day before yesterday night and expected Sheffield to give them the 3 points. That doesn't
Yeah,
happen. The intensity was lacking. The effort and the
yeah,
how do I say, just the patience to play those triangles, to play those intricate balls and then try to get into the box. They just, both Rashford and Martial is
yeah,
incredibly guilty of it. Tried to play so many one-twos, tried this flick, that flick, tried to turn, tried to do this versus Jaggy Elka, whereas Jaggy Elka just stood like a rock. He's like, fuck off, you're not going around me. And that's what happened, man. And
yeah.
yes, Bruno had a
Jagielka
bad game. Yes,
interestingly, Jagielka interestingly gave a call to his dad saying that I'm starting, and then his dad was like, "Oh, are you kidding me?"
Exactly, exactly.
but
We spoke
wonderful
Jagelka will be
professional, wonderful
starting.
professional.
Wonderful performance, absolutely. Absolutely does. It never looked like he's making his first appearance and he's a 38-year-old guy. He
Oldest
was
player in the
just
Premier League.
the oldest player in the Premier League this season. So it was a fantastic performance. I agree to Kushagra as well.
Yeah,
I'm just saying Arsenal defend better than us at times. It is just that I
yeah,
feel so, and it is difficult to break because
yeah.
I have seen instances where they don't open up and they have now
Yes.
pace on the break as well.
Yeah, yeah,
So I would actually go with Mata because
yeah.
I need more players who will you know
Okay.
help keep the ball and all. So I'll go with Mata on the right. Left, I'll go with
Yeah,
Rashford and up top Cavani because Martial
yeah,
has been. It's time now for Martial to drop because the thing is, if you would have seen a theme where Oli trusts his players, he gave
yeah,
Lingard chances until to
yeah,
prove himself, Pereira chances to prove himself, but they didn't prove, and now they are nowhere near the first team. Of course, they have the
yeah.
one has gone to loan and one
One
will
is
be now
about
heading
to
out.
go. Yeah,
Yeah, one will be heading out. So this is the same with Martial. Once his patience runs out, and we all know who all his top target is Erling Haaland. So he's just waiting for that thing to happen. It's
yeah,
worrying time for Martial. I don't know if Martial knows that. I am a big fan of
yeah,
Martial. I've spoken about it before. Martial is not is playing well. He's not just contributing to the goals and assists, but he last
yeah,
night. I mean, Wednesday's performance was, I mean, shocking. Really shocking
yeah,
from a player who is now at United for ages now. I think it's like 6 7 years. When did he join?
yeah.
2014. It's
He
like
joined in
now he'll be
2015. It's been
So this
six
is
years
his
that he's
sixth.
been at
This is
United.
his sixth season. Yeah.
Sixth season at
sixth season.
United, and
Sixth season.
he hasn't really set the world apart. We added clauses like winning the Ballon d'Or. I think he's not even being close to being the best player in the United setup at one point.
Yeah,
So
that.
that is a really worrying thing. And we were joking a little bit about Jagielka, right? We you remember that Moyes used to give the lessons
Give
to Rio
Ferdinand
Ferdinand to watch
and
Jagielka.
Vidic.
But anyway, let's move on. What are your score prediction, guys? Rohan, what is the score that you're predicting?
The best I can see from Man United is taking a score draw 1-1. But I have, as I said, I have very bad feeling it can go worse. A 2-1 defeat at
Yeah,
Emirates purely because we haven't been playing good at against Arsenal, and Arteta somehow comes up with a plan to stop Oli. Arteta is one of the managers Oli hasn't defeated now. So
yeah,
there is something there is something that he does, and we have to come with a. Yeah, the thing is, one criticism I have with Oli is when our plan A doesn't work, he hasn't got a plan B. He
yeah,
doesn't give
yeah.
substitutions
He
in
he
the
hasn't he
contract
hasn't
phase.
got he hasn't got Fellaini also, right? So that is the plan C that is out of the game totally. Kushagra, your score prediction. I think you already predicted a defeat, right, for
At
United.
2-1. Yeah.
Yeah, I am
Uh,
going to be a little positive here, I guess, because
Varun
I
with a
feel
comment. I think you've
yes.
not taken that.
Yeah, we are going to go with the comments as well.
Sorry.
Varun says that Rashford, Cavani, Greenwood should play up front with Pogba, Fred, and Bruno as the three midfielders. It's
No,
incredibly
no, no.
ambitious. It's
He's
incredibly
forgetting. He's
ambitious.
forgetting. He's forgetting the favorite child.
He's forgetting Scott McTominay. He's also forgetting the fact that we have been defeated by Sheffield. It's not an FA Cup game, so I don't think it will happen anyway.
They'll be
Unfortunately,
way more defensive than that.
There'll be way more defensive.
Pratmesh,
I
I'll
think.
not be surprised if you see a three at the back and a five, four in the midfield, sort of a five at the back, sort of a thing. I just don't think United have five fit center, three fit center defenders, so that could be a
Yeah,
problem.
that
But
is the only.
if they
I
did,
think one of the things that he might do is probably play Luke Shaw at left
Look
centre
shot
backs,
the left center back.
play Maguire in the centre, play Bayo on the right, and then Telles and Van Bissaka, which would be. I think Telles is better suited as a left wing back anyway. But let's just hope that this game gives us a little positive vibes at the end of it. So I'm going to go against the panel and predict a 2-1 win to United because somebody has to be positive, right? So let's just be positive in some way or the other. And we have crossed the mark where Juan Mata is going to be substituted. So we also want to be substituted with whatever else you guys want to watch in the future. And thank you to all the viewers who've joined Sound of Manchester today. We genuinely hope that when we do the review for the Arsenal game, we are in a little more positive frame of mind, and that we are not really worried about players that Arsenal can throw at us. Rather, than we will be more optimistic about the future games to go. Please do click like, please do share this video and subscribe to the channel. Do click on the bell button to get all the updates on the latest videos coming out on the SOM. And as Varun says, a penalty win at the Emirates, it's definitely on. And let's just hope that after that Arteta doesn't keep on complaining. And signing off is Prathamesh with Kushagra and Rohan, and we will see you soon.